How's it going, you guys? Just want to knock out a quick video here while I'm waiting for Chinese food to get delivered. Oh, I can't wait. I'm hungry. Had a great week. Hearing from you guys about the first week of videos that I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of videos this week because I'm not sure how often I will be able to do this all that regularly. This week has been really slow at work, so I haven't really had much work to do at work. So I've been at home a lot more than I usually am. So I've been able to knock out 8 videos in less than a week so far. So don't expect that kind of frequency from me. It's just been kind of like a crazy first bang into doing this thing. Anyways, I got a friend coming over later tonight, and I think we're gonna both do one of these videos, talk about a pile of CDs just like I do on this. So I hope you enjoy that. Tonight, well, right now we're listening to Keep of Kalessin. This is their first album, Through Times of War, on Avant-Garde Music. Amazing fucking debut from this band. I don't know why people don't go crazy for this album more often, but it's totally like Emperor, The Gods. Yeah, check it out. Their later era stuff I actually hate, but this stuff is really good. The second album that they did is also incredible. So check out Keep of Kalessin's first album if you haven't already. Let's get into some CDs. Now this is a killer Swedish band, Arcanum. Pretty well known. Continues to put out good stuff as far as I know. But I only have the first couple. So I've got Costoger. A label that I collect is Necropolis. So this is on Necropolis. This is just super nasty, trollish, pagan black metal. It just sounds so inhuman. Really cool band. I've got Fran Martyr, which is also on Necropolis. I don't really, it's been a long time since I've listened to this band. I should probably get around to it. I'm getting sick of me saying that, But to that note, I have been listening to more stuff that I ordinarily wouldn't. When I go through these videos and I put the links down in the descriptions, I listen to them and I'm like, God damn, I didn't know how good this was. Or I find out that whatever I said in the video was completely wrong and I'm telling you lies about music. Anyways, I hope to get more correct in the information that I'm giving in these videos. But you got the internet, you can look it up yourself. I got the third album here from Arcanum. It's Campin'. It's a double CD, and the second CD, I believe, is just acoustic, ambient, folk stuff. But yeah, this is one of those bands that puts themselves on the covers of each record, so gives you a little bit of an idea what it's like. Yeah, it's been way too long since I've listened to Arcanum. Next, we've got one of my favorite bands, Arcturus. Let's start with... Well, I don't really have the first one, because the first one, My Angel and Constellation, came out on Nocturnal Art, and the CD for Constellation goes for around $300, and my price cap at a CD is way less than $300, but I do have it on LP. But this is the first full-length, Asperaheim Symphonia. This is one of the first black metal records I ever got into, and this was such an interesting departure from the stuff that I was listening to early on. Like, I was listening to At the Gates, Carcass, Cradle of Filth, Dark Throne, Immortal, but this album was so unique to me back then. It had, like, it really kind of backed off of the brutality and the intensity, and it seemed to just have... Its main drive was just the passion about the song, what these songs are about. To Thou Who Dwellest in the Night, amazing fucking song. But at the time, I was such a huge fan of Garm from Ulver and Borknagar, and then to hear him in this, it's so fucking good. It's highly melodic, great atmospheres. The songwriting is just excellent. This is really the only album that I like Hellhammer's drumming on. It all just came together on this album, and I just think as far as like Arcturus goes, I'm actually glad that they departed away from this style, because there was no topping this style. This is where it ended. and I've never quite heard anything else like it. This is one of my favorite records of all time. I hold it real close. So that's Asperheim Symphonia. After that one, a couple years later, they fucking blew everyone's mind. No one was expecting them to release La Masquerade Infernale. This is just a total avant-garde album that sounds really nothing like that. But this was one of my favorite albums at the time, and it was almost like rediscovering a new band. Almost like having, I don't know, it was like falling in love with Arcturus all over again, because it seemed like they were a different band, but it wasn't. So it continues to kind of be a theme with this band, that they reinvent themselves every once in a while. But this was the first time that I had ever heard Simon Hesnays singing. This has some vocals from Garm on it, and some vocals from Simon Hesnays on it. He's an amazing singer. He's got such an amazing range. He sings like that clean operatic style. He's one of the only reasons to listen to later era Dimmu Borgir. And I love him in Lamented Souls. I even like his solo record. And Simon actually also has another band that he's doing called God of Atheists that I'm really stoked about. It's got Trim Torsen from Emperor. It's got, I believe, Ishan from Emperor. And Asgir, I think, from Borknagar is playing drums on it. The lineup is just like a total super group. But they've been working on the record for a couple of years, and I'm pretty stoked to hear that. But anyways, this is a really strange album. If you're looking for something that's just tremendously high-quality music, but is just like oddball and strange, this is an essential album. After that, they did kind of a weird thing. This, to me, is just kind of useless. It's just like a remix album, some B-sides of stuff. Actually, I think all the remixes are done by people who aren't in Arcturus, so it doesn't even feel like an Arcturus record to me. It's kind of interesting, but I feel kind of gypped owning it. Anyways, I've had that for quite a while. Then they kind of did a return to form. I guess this is more of kind of a meat and potatoes sort of album. The straightforward symphonic black metal. There's one song on here, I think it's called Ad Absurdum, that Ishan from Emperor sings on, talking about Emperor quite a bit. But I do love me some Emperor. But this is a little more of a straightforward album. It's almost like they just kind of squirted it out of their loins in a year or so. And I imagine that's what it is. They were super talented musicians, so I wouldn't put it past them just to eke this album out with very little effort. But it doesn't speak to the quality at all. It's a great fucking album. Totally memorable, pretty melodic. I don't know, it's not all that avant-garde like the first two albums are. It's pretty straightforward, but great nonetheless. It's been a while since I listened to that one. After that, they did Sideshow Symphonies. And I still feel like I'm walking around the edges of this album trying to figure out how to like it or how to listen to it. This was the first record that was just Simon Hesnays, no Garm. I don't know if there are any other lineup changes on this album, but I don't know. I can't put my finger on why I find this album a little bit unapproachable. And so therefore, I can't really explain what it is I don't really like about it. I should probably really try and hunker down and figure out how to like that album, because the one after it that came out last year was a pretty decent album. I was able to, fully get in there and listen to it and consume it, unlike I am able to with that album. So, but I haven't picked a copy of that up yet. Moving on, we've got a CD called Arecibo. Now, this is not metal. This is an album called Trans-Plutonium Transmissions. And this is kind of a ambient, dark wave sort of album. It's kind of a concept album based on, I guess, a space sort of theme. This is a solo project from the guy from Lustmord. I'm not sure if Lustmord is a solo project or not. Lustmord has a great record called The Place Where Black Stars Hang. But I picked this up used in a CD store that I worked at for about a week. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just really uneventful and calming and peaceful and kind of imaginative. Nothing all that special about it. Next, I got a killer band, Ares Kingdom. This is Return to Dust on Nuclear War Now. I want to say this came out maybe 9 years ago. Wow. And I haven't listened to this as much as I probably should have. Great American, just sort of blackened death metal. Yeah, Ares Kingdom. Most people, I think, know that band. Now here's a band, Argoslint. Sketchy band, I think. Yeah, pretty much. But they're a super melodic band. You know, I bought this not knowing what I was really getting into. So yeah, that's Argoslint. Hornets of the Pogrom. It's just like melodic death metal kind of stuff. Not really typical, but anyways, I don't want to talk about that too much. One of my favorite bands coming up here, Armageddon. Love these guys. I first heard this band, the Final War Approaching, or this album, back in 2000 or so. And back then, it seemed like all I was hearing was Dark Throne clones. And I don't know, everybody loves Dark Throne, and there's really nothing wrong with sounding like Dark Throne. But it just kind of started to get old with me. And I'm not saying this is a Dark Throne clone, but it kind of falls in line with that sort of style to me. It just kind of easiest falls into that category. And this, as far as what the band went on to do, it's kind of a weak debut, but it was really interesting enough for me to keep on listening to that band. And I fairly regularly listen to Armageddon. I love this one. This is Only True Believers. And then there's one that I don't have. I wish I did. What the fuck's it called? I can't think of it right now, but all of their stuff is excellent. I picked this up a couple of years ago. This is like rarities and B-sides, and this is one of those bands where their demos are really fucking rad. They do a Bathory cover, Satan My Master, fucking rules. This is on, that cover is on here twice. There's a live version and a studio demo version of it. But yeah, this is a compilation called Echoes in Eternity. Really fucking good. Argonia put that out. But this band seemed to just like plow through about 10 releases or so, and then they were done. And they never put out anything bad, and I really appreciate a band who can just plow through a bunch of stuff, put out nothing bad, and then call it a day, and then move on to the next idea, rather than languish and put out a bunch of shitty stuff like some bands that I can't think of off the top of my head ordinarily do. Yeah, so after that they quit that, and then they went on to do Leak, which is really great, Londum, which is really great, and subsequently Londum broke up I think last year. Londum is a great record band that I love, and now one of the guys from Londum is doing a band called Saiva, which did a split with Grift last year, which is amazing. I can't wait for that Saiva full-length debut to come out. It's just really great, straightforward Swedish black metal. Yeah, that's the bottom of my pile. I'm trying to think if there's anything to add to this one. It's been great getting some feedback from you guys, getting some comments, and just kind of starting to see what you guys do about, or like how you guys do these videos and stuff. Getting some ideas going for some alternative type of ideas, like not going through my CDs, doing some other types of videos for you. But yeah, my Chinese food ought to be here any minute now. I'm gonna have some beers, listen to metal all night. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hang with me, subscribe right there, or is it right there? I don't know. Either way, subscribe, tell people who might enjoy this. Appreciate all the support. Thanks a lot.